going on, guys? Holmes Forum coming at you today with another video. In today's video, we're talking about the Detroit Lions making some moves. Trade deadline is today, as of I think 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. We still got a few hours left. The Detroit Lions did make a trade today, though, for edge Za'Darius Smith, a guy that a lot of Lions fans, a lot of the media, the some analysts, all that stuff. We're predicting that we're going to come to the Detroit Lions, and it came through. Brad Holmes delivers. He brings in a guy that is a pass rusher. He can play the run a little bit. Pass rushing is probably his biggest skill set. He played for the Browns. He's played for majority teams. We'll get into that a little bit, though. He's 32 years old, 6'4", 270 pounds. Detroit sends a 2025 fifth-round pick and a 2026 future sixth-round pick to Cleveland in exchange for Smith and a 2026 seventh-round pick. Great move by Holmes. I think it's, we talked about this, that he needed to do something. And I think this was, one of those moves that he just, that he hit on. This apparently was in talks since Hutchinson went down. Just kind of read that literally about 30 seconds ago, where they said the second Hutchinson went down, Brad Holmes was on the phone. And I know guys like, Lions fans, I'm included, we get frustrated. Like, what is Brad Holmes doing? He's not doing nothing. What's going on? We worry, right? Because last year, the last couple of years, we've seen it. Brad Holmes, man, I thought we needed some help last year. He didn't do it. He brought in a wide receiver that didn't contribute in Donovan Peoples-Jones, and we were frustrated, and I thought that we needed to do something, to make that Super Bowl run. And we went on a run. And, we saw what happened not going after players, but it's not the only reason why we lost in the NFC Championship game. But that's a whole other story that I'm not getting into. But this year, it almost felt like the same. It's like, oh, no, he's not going to do nothing. It's coming right down to the wire. He waited on this, and it paid off. It paid off. We were all getting impatient, like I said. Cleveland apparently reportedly wanted either a third-round pick or a fourth-round at worst for Za'Darius Smith. And we ended up giving up a fifth-round pick and a future sixth, and even got a seventh back and the player. So Brad Holmes cooking, doing his thing. He's 32 years old. There's a lot of people out there saying he's not productive, he's not this, he's not that. He is. Let's go over his stats. He's been in the league since 2015, okay? 10-year career. Drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in the fourth round back in 2015. Been with the Ravens for 4 years, Packers 3 years, Minnesota 1 year, and then he was with the Browns and the Lions. It'll be a total of 2 years because he was with the Browns last year. But 321 tackles, 82 tackles for loss, 163 quarterback hits, 2 fumble recoveries, 10 forced fumbles, and 15 pass deflections, and 65 sacks to his career. So 10 years, you're looking at an average of about 10 plus sacks a season, what he's really done, right? So, not 10, but productive. Just a productive player. You know what I mean? Like, he's just getting the job done. You can't get mad at a trade pickup like this at all. So, averaging about, 8, 9, whatever, 7 to 9. My math is a little bit off. I didn't really do it. I don't know why I said 10 sacks a season. That would require more sacks. But, he's been a guy that's been productive. Let's just say that, man. He has missed some games in his time, about 21 to 22 games in his 10-year career. He played only one game in 2021 for the Packers. But I believe it was a back injury. I know he had surgery that year, so it was probably that year. And just one of those things, man. You're not going to stay healthy your whole career, but he's been relatively healthy if you look at the rest of his numbers or his years. Missing a couple games here and there. But other than 2021, he's been fairly healthy. 2024, his numbers are 23 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 7 quarterback hits, and 5 sacks. Having a Pro Bowl years in 2019, 2020 with the Packers, and then in 2022 with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, PFF, if you guys know, I'm not a huge PFF guy. and I don't just use PFF when it's looking into the positive, when I'm trying to fit a narrative here, but his number is not bad. Sacks, fifth at his position. That puts him at 17th ranked. Pressures, 27, 23rd in the NFL. Win rate percentage, 19.1. That's 12th in the NFL at winning and in a pass rush. His pass rush grade, 71.1. And his run grade, 65.9. That's for 2024. And that gives him an overall score of 73.6 overall. So, having a good year in Cleveland on a bad football team. Obviously, Myles Garrett over there on the other side too, man, it helps him a little bit more too. Seeing a lot of, individual single high matchups. You're not seeing this guy, get double teamed a lot with Myles over there. So so he's going to come over here. He's going to be probably the best D lineman just at getting to the quarterback. Not necessarily the best D lineman on the team. Aleem McNeil might have something to say about that, but he's a guy that can get to the quarterback still at 32 years old with 5 sacks and some pressures. You know what I mean? So it's just a move that needed to be done. So if you're looking at this as a PFF grade from a point of view there, a POV, as what we call, that would make Smith probably the 4th best player on the Lions on the defense. Anyways, with Hutchinson obviously being out, but Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch all ahead of him with 90-plus grade scores. So Hutchinson out, that makes him the 3rd best. So, I'm trying to spin this into a positive because I know there's a lot of fans that probably will not like this move. And I think majority will, because I know the Max Crosbys, the Myles Garretts, the whoever else that that they needed to come over here. Didn't really happen. Apparently Brad Holmes tried to call, what's his name, Mark Davis from the Raiders. And he tried to do a trade with Max Crosby. And apparently it got shot down. That's the rumor. Sports Illustrated kind of put that out. I don't know how real that is, but apparently Holmes was working the phones, doing his due diligence and going above and beyond, trying to get something. And I think he finally knows that the window is open. It's not rapidly closing. That's not why he made a trade. It's wide open. So you see other teams doing it. You see the Washington Commanders doing it, grabbing Marshawn Lattimore. You see the Kansas City Chiefs, 8-0, going after guys. DeAndre Hopkins looked great last night. 2 touchdowns, 90-something yards or something like that, receiving. You see the Buffalo Bills going after Amari Cooper. I think he's hurt, but he had a touchdown, I believe, in his first game. You see teams doing stuff. The Bengals trying to stay in it still. They going after Khalil Herbert. Not a huge move, but just trying to do things. And there's been like 15 trades. Not today, but there's been, I think it was Mike Garafolo from Good Morning Football. He was on there, on the Insiders, whatever the show he kind of does off that program. He was saying there's been 15 trades since the beginning of the year. Since the off season, like since last year started, since last year ended, boom, there's been like 15 trades that have been done so far in the NFL. So that's pretty high. You don't see a lot of trades in the NFL. You just don't, especially for guys at the defensive end spot. So I think this was a great move, man. You're getting a guy that was pretty productive in college. He went to Kentucky. He was a Kentucky Wildcat, had 11 sacks there in a couple years, 120 tackles. He was a transfer from East Mississippi Community College with 11 sacks. It's a guy that's kind of like made himself into a pretty productive football player in Za'Darius Smith. And you talk to any Minnesota fan, you talk to any Green Bay fan, I've already seen it. He's a cancer. He's this, he's that. I know in Minnesota he wanted a little bit more money. That's why they let him walk. And then in Green Bay, he was super productive. He probably had his best years ever as a Packer. I remember him absolutely slaughtering the Detroit Lions every time we played him. This was a guy that was just a menace. Now, we're not getting that same guy. But he got hurt, and then he ended up getting shown the door. It's just the business side of it. But Packers fans would tell you he's a cancer. Minnesota fans would tell you that he's not a good player. Anybody that we get, they're going to tell you he's not a good player. He's a good player. Just to let you guys know. Is he the game-changing guy that you thought we were going to get? No. But he's a guy that can make the splash play. He's high energy guy. You go, after that Cleveland Browns game, I think, I forget who they just played. They lost. They got whooped up. They were interviewing some of their players, man, and they were like, they were gonna miss him. We're gonna miss him. He's a high energy guy. He's a leader. He's a big brother. He's that father figure, like to the younger guys. He's only 32, you know what I mean? But he's just a guy that takes you under his wing. It doesn't seem like I've never heard of him being a cancer. Like, I know that he obviously, he was shown the door in Green Bay. I think he really wanted to stay there. Minnesota, he wanted to stay there too, but they didn't want to give him any more money. Drafted by Baltimore. He didn't really have a great career as a Raven. He had some nice numbers as a Baltimore Raven if you go look at it. But he was shown the door there as well too. So he's been on 4 or 5. This is his. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his 5th team in 10 years. It doesn't mean he's a cancer. It doesn't mean he's a cancer. It just sometimes it don't work out. He was a 4th round pick in Baltimore. He was expendable. He played pretty well at Baltimore his last couple of years. Packers, he was fantastic as a Packer. He was phenomenal as a Packer, and he was damn good as a Viking. 3 Pro Bowls between those two squads right there. But he is 32 years old. He's going to come over here. He's going to be one of our best. He's probably our best defensive end as of right now, 100%. There's not even a question about it. So everyone's going to be like, well, is he going to take on all the double teams now? I don't think he's that type of player where you really need to focus crazy on him, where that you need to worry that he's going to be a double team guy. Will he get it probably more in Detroit? 100%. He wasn't getting it in Cleveland because he had Myles Garrett. He had a Hall of Famer defensive end next to him on the other book end. So, but we're getting a good football player. And if he's going to take some double teams, that's fine. That means Ali McNeil and guys on the other side like Pascal, James Houston, whoever they need, whoever they put over there needs to step up. But this is an upgrade. If you're looking at this and you're upset thinking this is a terrible move, it's not. It's an upgrade. It was a much needed move. Now, is Holmes done? I don't know. There's talks that he's still out there working the phones. Carl Granderson from the States. They're talking about Chase Young from the States, Jadeveon Clowney from the Panthers. If you're going to give up a 5th and a future 6th for a guy like Za'Darius Smith, you're only giving up a 7th, probably a 7th for a guy like a Clowney or a Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson's a little bit younger though, but he had some off-field issues a few years back. Chase Young could maybe go for a little bit higher, a 5th or a 6th. I don't know because of his age and the potential. But, I don't think Holmes is going to spend too much more money or draft capital on those guys. He'll probably try to fleece somebody. He'll probably try to get those guys for a 6th, a possible 7th. So who knows? So is he done? I don't know. It doesn't really sound like he is. He's working the phones. Am I happy for what we did? Yeah, I'm happy for what we did. And then the money situation is a joke too. We're paying $605,000 for the guy this year. That's fantastic. That's fantastic for 2024. $605,000. Say it with me. $605,000 for a guy that could get 4, 5, 6 sacks as a Lion. He could. He's very capable of doing it. The Browns already gave him like $11 million. I think it was exactly $10.895 million plus $11 million. Let's just say $11 million. So, and then next year, 2025, there's an option with him. He's only making $1.5 million. So he could be a Lion next year at $1.5 million. They don't even need to worry about. They don't even need to worry about anything. Keep him around next year or not. It just all depends on how this goes. How this little marriage goes. It could be good. It could be bad. Who knows? I don't think he's a cancer. I don't think he's going to bring any type of negativity towards this team, but just maybe it doesn't work out here. There's always that possibility. But he's cheap. He's dirt cheap for this year and next year. It's a win-win. Win-win move. Brad Holmes did it. He got a productive player. Not a game changer. Not a phenomenal. You're not getting 2019 Za'Darius Smith. You're not getting 2019. You're not getting 2020 Za'Darius Smith. You're not. but we could be getting a really nice version because he's still producing at a really nice level. He is. He's on pace. He's on pace for 8 to 10 sacks. So that's a really nice move by Brad Holmes and on the super cheap. So it's a good move. It's a great move by the Lions. Great move by Holmes. Hooked it up. We needed a pass rush. This guy can do it. He can play the run a little bit, but he's a better pass rusher than he is a run defender. I like the move, guys. You Lions fans should be too. Za'Darius Smith in the building. Honolulu blue and silver. Z Smith. Good job. Good job. All right, guys. Thanks for coming in. Video long, over gonna get 16 minutes. Gonna touch it. I appreciate you guys coming in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right. Don't forget the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. What do you guys think? Za'Darius Smith in the building. Should play this weekend too. I don't see why he wouldn't play. Might be limited in snaps though. It's Tuesday. Got to get him in here right away. I'm sure he'll be in the building today. All right, thanks guys. Go Lions, grit, Detroit versus everybody. Pop, pop. Woo!